Chek. Today I'd like to share a little bit of my thoughts and feelings about creating harmony in your life. Hey, we all have ups and downs, and it's easy to get caught in kind of a sad sack mood or in the habit of doing things that didn't work last time again and again and again, and thinking that the world's beating up on you or nobody loves you or something like that. But I'd like to share a little process today that I use with my clients that's quite fun. I use it with myself. That's how I developed it. And hopefully what I'm going to share today can help you create harmony in your life. So, we've got lots on the board here. First, we must remember that consciousness is beautifully defined by Edward Edinger as, or in the following way. Consciousness is a psychic substance, which means it's something produced not blindly, but in living awareness of opposites. That brings us right back to the old man Lao Tzu and the Tai Chi symbol that says all things in the created universe are made of the marriage of complementary opposites, the female yin force or emptiness, and the masculine yang force of expression or projection. So if you think of a vagina, its emptiness allows its functionality, and a penis's projection or fullness allows its utility, and those two fit perfectly to create life. And that is what the symbol says, that the male and the female are constantly complementing and co-creating each other. And if we are not aware that the two polarities are different and that they don't have always a smooth interaction with each other. You know, if you want to build the foundation of a house, you got to dig the hole. There's work to be done. If you want to grow a healthy relationship with your partner, there's work to be done. Naturally, we have the masculine and the feminine in us, but like anything, if you want to carve something out of wood or stone, you have to do the work to carve away everything that's not part of the beautiful expression that you choose to express. So if you're the wood or the stone, there's a little bit of chaos going on. You're being carved up, but in the end, maybe the stone or the wood feels appreciated because it's now being looked at and enjoyed by people. So my key message here is that, remember, life is made of ups and downs. If there were no ups and downs, there would be nothing to be conscious of. If nothing was moving in your environment, you would have nothing to be focused on. I'm sure some of you have had the experience of going into meditation or Tai Chi, and you're nice and deeply relaxed, and all of a sudden someone slams a car door or burns out at a stop sign or yells from the house next door, and all of a sudden, boom, you're brought right back into awareness, but in a state that you're now conscious of something that's moving relative to your internal state. So the key thing here is consciousness depends upon the activity of the undulations from the feminine or the relatively empty or negative to the masculine, more full, more positive energy. So our life, you could say, is a perpetual transition from some degree of fullness to some seeming emptiness. You have your lover, you lose your lover. You have your money, you lose or poorly invest and manage your money. You have your home, it's all beautiful and working, and the next thing you know, a door handle falls off, or the stove quits, or your car breaks down, and that's the story of life. And everything's like that. So it's just important to realize that it's better to learn skills for creating harmony and understanding the process than it is to always resist the process, be frustrated, and not learn how to accept the one universal constant that's always part of your life, which is change. Because for anything to happen, something that's emptier needs to become fuller, and something that's fuller becomes emptier. And how we relate to that has a lot to do with how stable we feel, and how much we try to control the process means usually how much stress we have, There is a healthy level of control, such as knowing what your dream is and knowing what your values are, but overly controlling can be very, very restricting, because if you don't adapt to changes in the environment and realize that all dreams interpenetrate your dreams, then you're setting yourself up for control fatigue, frustration, failure, resent, and dot, dot, dot. Remember, challenge offers growth. It's only through challenge. We go to the gym, and we don't go to the gym and say, now, why did people leave all these dumbbells and weight plates here? We know that we need to be challenged, so we go engage the resistance to grow. If we need to learn a new skill, we have to engage the resistance of bringing that information and programming it into ourselves and applying it so that we can learn the basics and then master them from there. But most of us would agree that the things that we've learned that have had really valuable effects and long-lasting impressions on us obviously often came with significant challenges. And anybody that's been in a long-term intimate relationship knows that the only way a relationship can grow more meaningful and the love can grow more fruitful and more reliable and consistent and stable is by growing through challenges with your partner. If you don't do that, you grow away from your partner, and that just leads to, pain, separation, challenge. And usually when we choose a partner, it's because we felt we liked them enough to do life with them. So we've got to be able to engage in this process with them. Remember, chaos always precedes change. Whenever you're learning something new, there's a level of chaos because your brain wants to keep doing the old thing. A good example is I travel all over the world, and often we're in countries where they drive on the opposite side of the road, and if you get into a car and have to shift gears with your left hand, your brain keeps wanting to do it with your right hand, and you want to use the opposite arm for turn signals, and you can find yourself doing some pretty funky things and feeling quite amateurish about it, even though you think you're a good driver. Well, that's because there's chaos. The brain has to go through a period of chaos to switch right hand shifting and hand functions at the steering wheel to the other side, but we go through the process or we get squashed, so we're usually motivated. Now, when it comes then to understanding the process, I'm going to use some words that will come back in a minute. One, we have to release the old, keyword release, to allow the new and accept help, guidance, and love with awareness to make healthy transitions. So we have to release the old to allow the new and accept help, guidance, and love with awareness to make healthy transitions. And that's really a simple formula, and it really works. It's not the formula that makes it hard, it's our incessant desire to hang on to old beliefs and old behaviors. So now what I'd like to share is a simple awareness based on the 7 chakra model. I call it the 7 zones of awareness. So if you're dealing with challenges in your life, I'm going to take you through a process I take my clients through when they come here and pay me the big dollars to help them solve their big challenges. And so I'm saving you money. If you do this, you may not need the help of someone like me. So first, our root chakra deals with issues of safety, security, and tribal association. That means family and who are my people. So if we're having a problem with creating safety and security for ourselves or our families, or working or managing the relationships within our family or our tribe, you would identify what those problems are. Chakra 2, creative use of your sex energy or life force energy. Most people think of that as sex, like, baby. But it is not copulation. That is where it goes to, and you can use plenty of it for that. But that channel represents how are you drawing life force energy into your body. So how are you breathing? How are you moving? How are you eating? How well are you resting? And are you using your head to create more dragons then is ideal for regenerating the body, because if you are, that would mean that you're not effectively using your life force energy. So think of that as the body's power reserves, or like the battery in a battery-operated electrical system, which needs to be recharged constantly. Third, personal power and self-will. This is the zone of who am I? What am I using my personal power and my will to create? That's a lot different than, why is everybody doing this to me? How come I always have to? Why don't I ever get to? That's a victim approach. What am I creating even by just participating in it? And what is it that I really want to do? So he basically said, what is my dream for myself and my participation in the world, and what am I doing or not doing to create that? So wherever there's challenges there, write it down. Fourth chakra, the heart, is love, harmony, and integration. The fourth chakra integrates the lower three, which carry your biological survival instincts, and all the information I share in my chapter on stress in my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, where I show you Paul MacLean's triune model of the brain, the reptilian, mammalian, and neocortical brain. So those are really our survival and bodily chakras and issues. The heart then integrates the top three with the bottom three to create a holistic body-mind experience, or a kind of effective marriage of spirit into matter to create dynamic form in life and breath and relationship. Chakra 5 is the throat chakra. It's about communication, because communication is an effective part of creating. Most things that are meaningful in our lives cannot be created by ourselves alone. We usually need help, so we need to communicate things to people. So if you're having a hard time communicating, or the fifth chakra relates to the hands, a lot of what we have energy to do results in something that comes through our hands. For example, if you're painting or building something, fixing the wall in your house, or gardening, there's a lot of work with the arms and the hands. So they typically are oriented to the fifth chakra, because they're how we express our creativity. And remember, 55% of language is body language, or signing, or posturing. So this has a lot to do here. Usually if we have problems with our creative sex energy, there's almost always some kind of correlation to how we're outputting that up here. Next, the sixth chakra is the third eye. It relates to insight, so I call that the zone of working in, looking into yourself, giving yourself a chance to detach and have what a lot of meditation teachers call equanimity, to observe without getting swept away or gobbled up by it. And so we need to have insight, otherwise we're never really sure whether our thoughts are our own, or our behaviors are our own, or if we're just recapitulating something someone else programmed into us as a child, or when we were unconscious, or whether we still want to do it. So taking time to look in. So if you're having a hard time being with yourself, having a hard time with quiet, having a hard time celebrating time alone to really look into what you're creating and look into the way you're loving and how you're feeling, then that's a very important thing to do. Otherwise, you'll keep looking for some kind of medicine or somebody to fix your problems and not realize the greatest healer is within. And then the seventh chakra, which comes out the crown of the head, deals with whatever you believe to be the source of life is. So some people call that God, some people call it the universe. The key point here is, if you're having challenges, it means that your myth or your philosophy is probably not creating freedom for you. So if you think God's going to burn you in hell and you've broken lots of commandments, then your myth can stop you from really living, because you think, what for? It's all going to end in me being burned in hell, so why bother? So you can get a nihilistic or a depressive behavior, and I'd say it's time to upgrade your myth. That's an indication that that myth is not working for you. Remember, most religions say God is love, and love doesn't burn people in hell, but it does inspire growth. And we know that it's time for a change when our model is creating more fear, pain, and diminishing life than it is fulfilling us and encouraging and inspiring us to grow. Then we have to look at our issues of our belief in death. They hover at the seventh chakra. And that issue about death, even though you might think, oh, death's a long ways away from now, But if you think about what I just talked about, and that chaos always precedes change, it means the old habit has to die for the new one to be born. So what you'll find if you look carefully, usually the way people believe or what they believe about death and how they relate to death shows up in all the mini deaths in their life. If death is very scary and they want to ignore it, then their problems are scary and they want to ignore them. So I could go on that, but interestingly enough, we forget that life is a series of mini deaths, and how we handle the little ones is usually an expression of what we believe the big one is all about. Okay? If you believe, like I do, that death is rebirth into a higher dimension where you're free of a physical body, but you still have your emotional, mental capacity to create and connect, then hallelujah, do good while you got your body, because you can't create more heaven after life than you can in life, because the same consciousness that's living here evolves there. So you might as well practice making heaven on earth. Hallelujah. And then intuition means asking questions to something bigger than yourself, the wholeness of yourself, the soul of yourself, the world of yourself, the universe of yourself, and being patient enough and open enough to listen. So if you're having a hard time using your intuition, that already tells me you're having a hard time working in and using your insight, and that tells me that there's probably significant problems in the lower 5. So what we do to turn this into something positive and effective and simple and fun is we answer the question, what is my dream now? What am I willing to create now that is dream affirmative, that makes me feel good, that all of me can get behind? Next, what 2 to 4 words best encapsulate the process, which would be answered by answering the question, I choose to practice. Okay, so when you look at what you've wrote down here, if you had to break it down to just your dream, 1 or 2 words that describes your dream, simple, and then 2 to 4 words that say, if I lived more like this, then my dream would manifest moment to moment, because I am that person now. Then we take those words and we chant them, or sing them, and or dance them, and rattle, and drum, or play any instrument, or sing, or turn your body into an instrument, and you get into it. And trust Paul when he tells you, if you can't chant, sing, dance, and have fun with those words, chances are really good you're never going to have what it takes to make it in relationship challenges or business challenges or most life challenges. So learning to sing, dance, and put yourself in the state that you want to live in is a prerequisite for carrying that behavior into the bigger, more challenging areas of your life. Now, I recently had a client here this last weekend for a 2-day healing journey with me. A client I've been working with for about a year, who I'm very proud of. He's overcome some significant challenges, and we're working together. And so I took him through this process, as I do with almost all my clients. And he came up with, when I said, what is your dream? He said, my dream is to have harmony inside of me and in my life. Fantastic. Then when we looked at what was going on in his life, I said, what 2 to 4 words really encapsulate what will allow that to happen in you? And his words were, my dream is harmony. I need to learn to release what I'm holding on to, allow my practices and my behavioral change to take place by participating in it, and accept the love and the guidance and the support from the universe, from my unconscious mind in meditation, from my power animals, my spirit guides, whatever works for you is good, my family, my friends, my coach. Hey, the whole world is conspiring to help us, and most of us don't believe that till we actually stop and start paying attention. And learning how to pay attention is why my training is so valuable, because that's what Chek HLC training is all about, Chek practitioner training is all about, and many of my books and articles and audios, etc., are all about learning to accept the support of teachers and others and yourself so you can create harmony, which means you got to release the old ideas and the old habits and allow them to be implemented effectively and accept your new self each moment. So the way we do that is we take that and we turn it into a simple chant. So I went out with my client to get him ready for his day, and we probably chanted this with Vidya and myself and my client for a good hour, maybe an hour and a half, just breathing, watching the hawks, being with each other, harmonizing our voices with each other, sharing our love and support with each other. And it's very, very powerful, and it helps shift a person energetically. So this is what it looks like. If you've got a pair of rattles, grab them now. So very simple. Harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. Harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. Harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. So now, one key thing is while you're singing that, don't just sing the words like harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. No. Create that state. Visualize that way of living inside of you. Release whatever is not part of your dream and let it go. Allow the process to take place. Life is a process, not an outcome. Life is a journey, not a destination. And then accept the support of your own inner spirit, your own soul, all the things that support you, whether they be your pets, your friends, your family, your teachers, your guides, and let that be the way you engage each day. So with that in mind, you can see we've got to kind of get ready and harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. Harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. Harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. Woo! Dancing it, mixing up the beat, change, whatever you want to do, as long as you get into it and you program yourself and you're driving down the road in your car singing harmony, harmony, release, allow, accept. And the next thing you know, I see you winning the voice and I go, hallelujah, baby. So, some resources to help you, guide you in this process, not this specific process, but many related processes, are the last 4 doctors you'll ever need, my multimedia ebook, available through chekinstitute.com, my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, which shows you how to identify where you're out of balance and gives you lots of information as to what to do about it. Costs you $25, might save your life. PPS Success Mastery Lesson number 1, how to find and live your dream. Very important. Number 2, self-management, how to use this thing to create what you want. Lesson number 3, this science of setting effective goals. Very, very important. HLC 1 online helps you integrate that important book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. Gives you more tools, a lot of practical training, step-by-step guidance by me and Angie Chek, who is one of our HLC instructors and helps run that program. So you get a little female energy and a little male energy, she wisdom and he wisdom in there. And you can do that live or online. Now, I've got many other resources I could put up there, but those are some important ones to start with. Easy to do, right at home. But what you can do right now is you can do this, and you can harmonize, release, allow, accept. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Paul Chek. I will see you soon.